Old school style, modern mechanics, streamlined gameplay, and one of the best designed RPG books ever have earned ShadowDark 4 ENnie awards and a legion of devoted fans. And for good reason, it fixes what 5e gets wrong. Hey there adventurers, I'm Judd. This is Short Rest Studios, where we like to dig into the fun of D&D and tabletop role-playing games because we believe that fun builds community. If that's you, I would absolutely love for you to join our adventuring party. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And please consider supporting Short Rest Studios by joining the Adventurers Guild on Patreon. The link's below. So let's get right to it. Here are 5 ways ShadowDark fixes what's wrong with 5e. And stick around because at the end of this video, we're going to talk about one bonus fix. The first way ShadowDark fixes what D&D gets wrong, it streamlines everything. ShadowDark does this by going back to basics, literally. It has a lot in common with the old basic D&D, but it still manages to feel like a modern TTRPG. It's got low hit points, low power, and deadly encounters that make it feel old school, but it's also got the core D20 mechanic, ascending armor class, advantage and disadvantage, slot-based inventory, luck tokens, and a roll to cast magic system like my go-to game, Dungeon Crawl Classics. It strips away a ton of fluff and focuses on quick gameplay and light key mechanics. Coming in at 325 pages, the ShadowDark rulebook is about 60 pages shorter than both the 2024 D&D Player's Handbook and Dungeon Master's Guide, and it's got everything you need to play, all the basic rules, a section for GMs, random tables, even a bestiary. Number 2 on our list of ways ShadowDark fixes the D&D experience, the book is designed to be used. Listen, I think I might actually be kind of a weirdo in the hobby because I like to sit down and read rule books. I actually have no problem with a dungeon master who hasn't read the whole DMG, but I'm kind of surprised by the number of people who haven't. That said, I love all the flavor and the art that's stuffed into modern D&D books. I enjoy reading them, but even as much as Wizards of the Coast has worked to improve the layout and design of the 2024 core books, that rules glossary and the PHB is lovely. Anytime you do have to look something up in game, it's gonna slow everything down to a crawl. There's just so much there that you don't actually need. I mean, sometimes even when you find the right page, you have to read through so much to find the actual rule you're looking for. And yes, you can use D&D Beyond, but at an extra cost, and some of us prefer physical books. But ShadowDark, it comes in one really nice self-contained book, and you get a free PDF copy. And it's got that nice little ribbon bookmark. I gotta say this real quick. It's amazing to me the number of times I've seen this ribbon come up in reviews. It's such a small detail and I love it. The book has these sort of printed tabs that denote where the different sections are, which is really helpful. And inside the front and back covers, you've got weapon and armor tables, quick rules descriptions like difficulty class, dying movement, random encounters, PC stats and modifiers. A lot of stuff you might commonly need to look up on the fly, and it's so easily accessible. And the guts of the book itself are intuitively organized. There are clearly delineated sections on character creation and magic, sections with tables for shops, taverns, random encounters based on terrain, treasure. And it does all this while still managing to communicate the flavor of the game with cool art and flavor text in the right places. The best way I can describe the ShadowDark rulebook is
mad toy.
The third way ShadowDark fixes what D&D 5e gets wrong, character creation. I know many 5e players just love the customization options that are available to them, maybe most 5e players. But think about the amount of text you have to read to create your first D&D character. Baron Drop over at Dungeon Masterpiece did a video last year where he compared character creation in the 2014 PHB to that of ShadowDark. So I'm going to reference his numbers here. Creating a character in 2014 D&D means reading 180 pages at about 700 words a page. That's the text equivalent of Pride and Prejudice.
I'm gonna go read a book with pictures.
ShadowDark's chapter on character creation is about 32 pages. Bigger print, and some of those pages are almost entirely tables. So tons less text. Of course, if you're a spellcaster, you'll also include the chapter on magic, but it still comes nowhere near the slog of 5e. Yes, there are fewer character options in the book, but there are supplements with more options if that's what you want. And you could also do it like we used to. If you have a character idea that needs more than what's written, get with your GM and hash it out. It's worth the trade-off. Let me put it this way. I recently did a video walking through the entire ShadowDark character creation process. It's 8 minutes and 42 seconds long. Every adventurer needs two things from their wardrobe: comfort and style. And I rolled a nat 20 on both when I got this incredible graphic tee from Into the AM. These are the kind of artful and unique designs that are guaranteed to give you a +1 to charisma. You can DM your next marathon session in comfort and conquer your daily quests in style. If you visit intotheam.com/shortreststudios, you can get 10% off your entire order, and that's on top of the incredible Black Friday sale they have going on right now. Number 4. The magic system. I said earlier that, like Dungeon Crawl Classics, ShadowDark uses a roll to cast magic system. Wizards roll 1d20 plus their intelligence modifier. Priests instead add their wisdom modifier. The DC for a spell check is consistent across the board, 10 plus the spell's tier. If they pass the check, the spell succeeds and they roll damage. If they fail, the spell fails and they can't cast it again until they take a long rest. This system removes a lot of the confusion that new and casual D&D players experience in a couple ways. First, and you may have caught this a second ago, instead of using the spell level terminology, ShadowDark calls them spell tiers. So many less experienced players and DMs get tripped up on spell levels versus character levels. Why didn't somebody ever think of this before? And second, there's no more wondering whether you have to roll to cast a spell or not. You do. Every spell requires a spell check to cast. Finally, the 5th way ShadowDark fixes what D&D gets wrong: it focuses on player decisions, not checks. Take the example of traps. In 5e, you've got to roll a perception check to discover if there are any traps and roll your skill check to disable them. On page 114, the ShadowDark rulebook says characters who search a specific area or object for a trap automatically find it. If a player character chooses to be alert and look carefully in a certain place specifically for a trap, it makes perfect sense that they would find it. On top of that, thieves, or other characters with certain abilities, can describe how they would disable a trap. If they have enough time and the GM determines that their method is reasonable, they succeed. It's something their characters should be able to do, so why not? There might be a stat check if they're pressed for time, or if disabling the trap requires a high level of skill. So the characters only fall prey to the traps if they choose to do nothing about them. It gives the players more agency and room for creativity than just throwing dice at it. You stuck around, so here's that bonus I promised you. ShadowDark transforms downtime. In 5e, there are downtime options, lots of them: practicing a profession and building a stronghold, and some of them are cool, but ShadowDark gives us what almost feels like a mini game that not only lets you spend some of your hard-earned gold, but it lets you gain allies and even XP. Carousing. Yes, 5e does have a carousing system, but it's basically just a way to spend money. In ShadowDark's system, the more epic you're partying, the more money you spend on it, the bigger your bonus when you roll on the carousing outcome table. If you spend 1,800 gold pieces on a 2-week bender, you get a +6, and who knows, you might wake up to find yourself deep in the mayor's stronghold with his grandmother's jeweled necklace in your hands and footsteps approaching. But you get XP and treasure for your trouble. Now, that's a fun and rewarding way to spend your downtime. There you go, adventurers. 5 ways plus a bonus that ShadowDark fixes what 5e gets wrong. And if you have some other ideas, if you think I'm wrong, if you think there are other things that make it great, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and check out the Adventurers Guild membership levels on Patreon. If you want to see how another game, say Free League Publishing's Dragonbane, compares to D&D, check out this video, and I'll see you next time on Short Rest Studios.